You did not talk too long. You were perfect. We have a round table now that we're going to wrap up this session on how we promote all of this collaboration and this forecasting, this prediction in the regional teams. And so I'm going to invite my colleague Liliane Diarra to come onto the stage to call the speakers of this roundtable. And I'm going to call our other co-chair, Enrique Alvarez Fanjul, because he's going to moderate. So with their direction, we launch this roundtable. I will bring another chair. You can go sit down, Enrique. I will take care of that. Liliane, you have the mic.
Is this working? Yeah? Okay. Let me just change it. I just really want to say thank you to all the speakers and panelists because, I mean, they've been doing marathons between the blue zone, the green zone. It's really, really appreciated that you're here for this event. So I'm going to call upon our panelists. If you can please sit under your name. First, I'd like to call upon Jennifer Veach from the South African Environmental Observation Network, representing the African regional team, followed by Mauro Ciano from the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro, representing the South and Central American regional team. You just need to swap places, please, if you don't mind. If you could swap places. Unless you want to swap names.
Yes, we have a perfect alignment thanks to these pictures.
Yeah, if you can just sit underneath it, please, Mauro. Thank you. Next, I'd like to call upon Emanuela Clementi from the CMCC, representing the Mediterranean and Black Seas regional team. And last but not least, Swadine Barrera from the Japanese Agency for Marine, Earth Science and Technology, representing the West Pacific and Marginal Seas of South and East Asia regional team. Have a happy discussion.
Thank you very much, Liliane. First, I would like to start just by saying how fantastic it is to have representatives from the different parts of the world here today to discuss about ocean forecasting. And I think this is the magic of the work we are doing, and I'm super delighted of having you. I think that these regional teams, as I try to express, are super important for what we are trying to do. And I would like to highlight that thanks to the work of these people here, and all of them here were super important for that one. We published 1 week ago a special issue on ocean forecasting. Look into that one, and super exciting. And these guys were pillars of this publication, all of them. So thank you very much. And let's start with some discussion. So I would like to know your impression, to get your feedback about the relevance of these regional teams and how this is also connected with the effort that INPA is doing to boost our activities. And I would like to start with you, Mauro. If you can talk to us about how these activities that we are carrying out could, in your opinion, help us to reduce the gap between those institutions that are, let's say, technologically more advanced and those institutions that are a little bit less advanced and could maybe benefit from some of the things that you have seen today.
Is on? Okay. Well, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me for this roundtable. I think that what we started with the regional team reminded me my first presentation that I did 12 years ago when I just entered Ocean Predict, and it was an overall presentation of the South and Central America. And I'm really happy that we managed to create the regional teams. So I think that in terms of bridging the gaps, despite the strong collaboration that we managed to achieve, we still have some gaps. So among those gaps, I would say that we still have limited trained personnel, as well as sustained trained programs. We also have insufficient infrastructure and long-term funding. And we also have lack of open quality control data sharing platforms. So I think that those are some of the points that we really have to work within the different countries. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your views on where we should be insisting. And I hope that some of the solutions, like for example, you were mentioning capacity development, and one of the things. I think that thanks to INPA and thanks to the Opera project, we are putting in place a plan for capacity development that we have high hopes on this plan. We have high hopes. We believe it's very well rooted, it's very well planned, it has enough resources to build something interesting, and we hope that in the future this will be a pillar to fill this gap that you were mentioning. Okay, we'll continue with Jennifer. And of course, Jennifer, we had the session on operas, and I would like to know your view about how opera could impact your region, how opera could impact in Africa, and your regional team at Africa.
Thanks, Enrique. So ocean forecasting services in Africa are limited. We're limited in terms of capacity. So let me first start with how the regional teams can support Africa in terms of forecasting. So there are already developed standards and best practices based on the global community, as well as the regional teams. And this means that Africa can be fast-tracked towards developing forecast systems. And this is what Opera promises to do, which is fantastic. Opera is not going to give Africa a forecast system. Opera is going to co-design a forecast system with institutions around Africa. And for this to happen, it needs to be, the co-design means that we will develop something that is truly fit for purpose. And, but for this to happen, we really need to have collaboration. And the regional teams, this is what they do. We underscore this sense of collaboration. So Opera, together with the development of collaboration and cooperation in Africa, will help massively to support ocean forecasting services in Africa.
Thank you very much, Jenny. I agree with everything that you said. I would like to move now to Emanuela, and this question, Emanuela, is also for you because the METSI have been exemplary in building collaboration along the years. I feel a little bit part of that also in the past, and I think we have a lot to learn from the METSI community on how to implement collaboration. So what's your view on how we can, through the regional teams, reinforce the collaboration at each region and beyond the regions? What's your view about that?
Thanks, Enrique. Yes, as you perfectly know, the METSI, actually the regional team of it's Mediterranean and Black Sea, which is a special one because these two regions are quite different in terms of operational capacity, but also in terms of networking. So we can also learn within this specific regional team how to collaborate also with other regional teams. In the METSI, we have established since the beginning of 2000 Moon, then Mongoose, so we have a partnership, actually a networking that it's working since more than 20 years, and that can be the basis, the core of the regional team. We have implemented a steering team in all the regional teams that is composed by different experts in different topics. And we are starting collaborating within the Mediterranean and the Black Sea, but we are also starting collaborating with other regional teams with experts on the same topics. So I think that the expertise that we have in the METSI can be really useful for other regions where we have less operational capacities, and we can build together something thanks to all this connection that we can build.
Thank you very much. I think it's very interesting from what you mentioned, the activity that we're going to have next year of starting to have meeting across the different regional teams with the specific topics of the different experts on the steering teams. So I think we have to work on that, to build on that, and I think if we have the right imagination to organize it properly, it can be very fruitful. So last but not least, Swadin, let me, given your good reputation as a top-level scientist, go for a little bit more technical question for you. We have been on the DCC on the technical side working on other tools like the operational readiness level, the architecture, and the work that we are starting now on data standards for ocean forecasting. How do you think this can impact the communities, and how can the different communities benefit from that?
Thank you, Enrique. So as Jennifer was mentioning, Africa is behind in terms of operational oceanography. But not only Africa, but many countries in Asia also, they are behind. One thing is to develop model for them together, and maybe they can learn from the best practices. We gave the example of Opera and maybe the Costa Rica, and based on that, they can create something for themselves. One thing is to make something. The other thing is to standardize them. So how do you standardize them? We have so many kind of varieties of modeling, varieties of operational system, and varieties of best practices. How do we standardize them? So ORL, operational readiness level, is one such index. I think that gives us a chance to improve the predictions objectively. Okay, we have these parameters, so your center is doing well in this, but you are not doing well in this. So we need to improve on that. So in that way, we can also globalize the standard for each regional team, irrespective of their capacity. Objectively, we create something, and they just follow that, and then the standard is established. However, one thing is to globalize things. The other thing is also to localize things. So each region has its own variability, its own stakeholders, its own way of doing things. So in that sense, I feel it's a kind of two-way interactions. And there, the regional teams, the steering team members for each topic, when they meet and discuss, they can realize, okay, these are the gaps we have in a particular region. These are the things which we learn from another region. And then we make them available to all the regional teams in a way that it helps to build the architecture. Both the modeling architecture and also the digital twin architecture. And in that way, I think the ORL will be helpful to us. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a few more questions, but I think it will be more productive if we open the floor, and if you agree, to the audience.
I do agree. Are there any questions or comments from the floor? Yes, great. Right here in the second row, sir.
Yeah, makes noises. Thank you very much. Thank you all for the very nice presentation we've seen today. I am Edwin Pinto. I'm from the Permanent Commission for the Southeast Pacific. Yeah, better. And
have to stay near me.
yeah, that's so we coordinate the oceanographic research in Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Chile. And I've seen with a lot of interest the presentation that you made here with Opera, and it's something that we will really like to try to replicate in our region. So how do you see if this is feasible? We have a regional organization for ocean observing system in the region, but we are a few steps behind on developing a real ocean observing system and a real platform like this one. So how do you, I mean, this is a question for anyone. How do you think we could build this in South America as it is being built in Africa right now?
Okay, I'll go for that one thing. I think that on this project, first thing we have to really is to succeed. So we have a responsibility. We have now INPA is trusting us, so we have to succeed with this project. I think that first success is we are more advanced, as Lilian was saying. We are more advanced on the Costa Rica project, and we can see the dashboard now. I think that the dashboard, for example, has a huge potential to be exported to other regions. So I think this is a low-hanging fruit. And once we succeed, I think that the collaboration with INPA could give us the clue in the future to go into another regions, to go into another places. But on the other hand, only what we are doing in Opera, only exploiting that, I go back to the capacity development, for example. once we have this program for capacity development, I hope we will be able, I hope that first we have to build it, and it has to be successful. I insist in that. But let's imagine that we achieve it. Lilian and I, we are sure that we will achieve it. Once we achieve it, that could be used in your region, that could be used in other regions, together with IMPA, to exploit and also to promote this multilateralism. I really loved people standing in those times to saying truths like this one. And I hope that this is the first stone in a row that probably I will not see, but others will come after me and will enjoy and constructing the building.
Other questions here from the floor? I have one otherwise. This is a kind of question for everybody, but you might feel more or less relevant in the activity of your region. How have the two projects that we've been mentioning all this afternoon benefited your region? I'm talking about Opera and I'm talking about OP4CR. And maybe one of you wants to answer first. And just Moro Cirano, I think you must leave soon, so you're completely excused. Don't worry about that at all. Yeah, you can use that microphone. Go ahead, Mr. Cirano.
Yep. Well, I think that based on what we have seen from Opera, there are at least 3 things that we can benefit from that example. The first thing is the Digital Ocean Center, so we can do something similar. The second one is technology transfer, like Jenny was mentioning. It's very important to develop it in our own country and transfer it. And the third one, again, and I think that that's really crucial, is capacity building. We have to work harder than we are working now in capacity building to train the new generation. So that's very important. So on a nutshell, I would say that shared challenges are shared solutions. So what we will learn in Opera, we can apply there. Yeah, thank you.
So the Digital Ocean Center, technology transfer and capacity building. Very good. Thank you very much, Mr. Cirano. Yes, Mr. Bejeja.
Yeah. So I agree with Cirano, and I think this will help us to replicate to other regions the same standard. Once we have a best practice, we know how it works. And not only the tools we are going to use in other regions, but the know-how of community engagement and how the both research community as well as stakeholders, how you engage with them, and the benefits they get from this project can be shown to other regions. Okay, these are the benefits you get by co-designing and just following what is done in Opera, for example.
Thanks for the question. So, of course, Opera hasn't started in Africa yet, but it promises to support so much in Africa, based on what the chair of the IOC Africa was speaking about earlier. But it's already showing its benefit in terms of building our community. You know, in advance of Opera, we're already building the community. But I foresee more than just a forecast system. Opera is a catalyst, and it's just the start. So I think as Africa, we need to develop better connections regionally, we need to coordinate better. We need to work with the regional teams, our regional team, as well as the other regional teams, to not only sustain, but build on the progress that is made during Opera. And we can actually leverage on global standards and best practices, but also tailor our systems to suit our context, you know, to suit our needs, to suit our challenges. And in this way, we can really, you know, be a significant contributor to the ocean forecasts we need for the ocean that we want. And, you know, we can really go far if we go together. Thanks.
Yes, and for the Mediterranean Sea, for sure, we will benefit for these kind of projects. We have already implemented several forecasting systems in the basin, but we still have fragmentation and imbalances between the northern and the southern Mediterranean Sea. So we know that thanks to this kind of projects, we can improve, we can start working together. When we look to the map of the Mediterranean Sea, we see that the southern part of the sea is not covered by data. Well, actually, it's not covered by shared data. So this will be the first point, because operation forecasting systems rely a lot on observations. And working within these projects, I guess it will be really beneficial for the whole basin, for the whole Mediterranean Sea, and we have a lot to exchange thanks to the experience that we have gained in the past years.
Alison Closen is here. Great. Well, I want to thank all four of you. Thank you, Enrique, for this roundtable, for your enthusiasm in explaining how these two projects can be beneficial in your region, and talking about the importance of the collaboration, the best practices, exchange, the observation. Thank you. We can welcome them off the